Living Adaptive.
The goal is to adapt and thrive despite the adversity you face.
You're going to have that little voice inside of you trying to push yourself.
I set a vision for myself, and now I'm seeing it come to fruition.
I'm grateful for losing my leg.
There's just some things you must endure in life.
You might crash.
You can find a purpose in your suffering.
I'm not going to stop.
You do everything you possibly can.
We want to change the world.
I'm going to adapt to it and make it the way it works for me.
Take what it is from life that you want and enjoy it.
What's up, everyone? This is Living Adaptive. My name is Scott Davidson, and today we've got an amazing guest. In fact, he's really well-rounded, to say the least, man. You know, a lot of people are doing one, two things. He's doing everything. I've got Steve Mackelprang here. He's a comedian. You know, he gets involved in adventure photography, adventure sports. He hikes. He does it all, man. And he is pretty notable in some communities, and he's also got a book out. So we're going to talk to him. You're going to hear a bunch of crazy shit because he's had a really wild run, and he's super fun. He's like one of the more fun people I've ever talked to in this community. So I'm glad to finally get him on here, man. Steve, what's up? How are you? And by the way, Steve goes by Mack.
Scott, I am incredible, but I'm getting better because I'm talking to you and I get to, share all this stuff. It's just going to be awesome. I'm excited. I'm looking at those pictures you have on your back wall, and I saw you had Yosemite, and the Narrows, I think Sedona, and then I can't see the other ones quite, but
Pittsburgh, where I grew up, a Spartan race, something else, but definitely Narrows, and I think behind maybe Red Rock is one of them. You're also,
it might be Red Rock. That might be Red Rock. Awesome.
Yeah, well, you're also a Red Rock. You've been down in Vegas. You lived here. You've done some comedy here, actually quite a bit of comedy here. You're wearing your CPO shirt, Nevada Prosthetics, man. Like, you're repping it all.
These guys are amazing. Jeremy Brooks and all of them there. They're amazing, though. I got to tell you a funny story. When I was in Vegas, I was rolling my wheelchair because I have a car then from their office. I just got tuned up. Jeremy just got me all tuned up. And then I'm on the corner, and next thing you know, this guy in his BMW rolls around and comes out and tries to recruit me. I never thought I'd get picked up by a prostitute in Las Vegas. You think a prostitute maybe, on the corner of Boulder Highway or something, but not a prostitute. And he comes out and he's like, and I had like his Stepford wife kind of like sleeking out there and giving me the card, like, oh yeah, come over to Pops here. And I'm kind of like, nope, man, I don't need a new daddy. I got my guys. These guys are amazing. I can't get enough of them. It was great. They'll go over and over and over until you get you right.
That's so funny. It's so funny out here in Vegas. Only here do we recruit, the adaptive community. We're going to be walking around scouting. Like, we're also, like, out here, you can get recruited to go to a brothel, strip club, to a casino, to a nightclub, and also to get a prosthetic leg. Like, we'll do it all here in Vegas, man. There's a lot of shit we do here that people don't understand. We have many talents. Yeah, you've done a lot of crazy shit, man. A lot. Like, you didn't enter. We should rewind this a little bit because, like, you weren't born into the adaptive community. You've had a wild run, man. You're a well-educated dude. You've done a lot of things like teaching and stuff like that. But like, to get here, you had a wild run, and you go into this book, which is available for listeners and watchers. Yeah, we're watching here. But like, how'd you end up part of our community? How'd you become part of the family, man?
It's kind of why I wrote the book, because it's like if I was to quote a movie like The Big Lebowski, there's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous to the story. So whenever I will say it, then it comes to another question and another question and another question. And then it's always me trying to make people realize that I'm okay.
Yeah.
And it's just, no, I'm doing great, people. Cause then there's all the big, So I don't know. I don't really. It's just too much to get. We'll spend too much time on it, and I mean, when it really comes down to it, that's what I think. It don't really matter. I mean, how your leg disappeared. If it's gone, it's gone. It ain't coming back. We're not lizards, right? We don't regenerate. So,
well, I want to say to the audience, I suggest they read your book, because like, where you came from, where you're going, where you've been, it's pretty fucking amazing. Like, it's no bullshit. It's a real story. A lot of people are inside of accidents, various accidents and other stuff like that, and it's over. You went through a lot of trials, man, a lot of challenges and shit like that, which makes you almost more interesting, because like, you're a comedian too. Like, how does somebody end up as a comic after all this shit goes down? I kind of have an idea, but how'd you even enter the stage, man?
Well, I mean, I like to say they can't run me off stage now. So I got the confidence up to do it. And like I said, I was a teacher before, and I always loved people and entertaining people. And I found out I was good at it. And then this really, it gave me a way to really step over boundaries in a way and really connect to all kinds of audiences because, you know, I mean, I've noticed that, you know, amputee, whatever, you're the bottom barrel. We're bottom barrel. You have nobody race or whatever really wants to be like, oh shit, my life is so bad. And then they look at somebody who's got their leg cut off. They're kind of like, you know, I guess I could have my legs cut off. So it, you know, it gives a lot of leeway. I mean, it all depends on how you want to take things, right? I could take things, this is so horrible, or I just found I just love comedy. And it's a way you can really get things, points across, or just really, I mean, on the best of being educated, but I want to make people think and I want to make them live and explore their life. And this is like a way you can, a platform that you can do it. And it's not easy. I don't really like things that are easy. So.
How much shit did you get in as a kid?
Oh, I got lots of trouble.
Yeah, you seem like you would definitely, like, since day one, kindergarten, they've had to have that lecture, you know, like he's cracking jokes. We can't get the ABCs down.
I always got really good grades was the thing about it, though. I would be in detention and I got perfect grades, so that it made it hard. And so then my parents didn't get me too mad because I knew if I could get great grades, you know, I got straight A's. You know, and then.
You are a very smart guy. I mean, you taught at University of Nevada, Reno. People can talk all the shit they want about Nevada schools. That one, like anybody that's like really high GPAs, that's the only way you're getting into that school because it's like the sought after one in the state, man. And you've kind of been you went after it for a long time. I think it's kind of fascinating to see like you have this wild edge to you, but at the same time, here's Professor Anatomy over here talking. You know what I mean? It's kind of wild.
It's fun to surprise people because people I'll run into different people and you'll get, you know, everyone has their initial judgments, and some people that are real judgy and whatever, they'll think because I haven't had any money or whatnot, and I've been floating around just doing my thing, they'll kind of look down on me. And then other people, they'll be really fascinated and really and they'll catch on. And it's just an interesting thing because it kind of helps me judge people in a way. I don't really like to judge people, but the ones that are going to be more open to things, you know, suppose the ones that are already have all their mind made up about things before they know anything about it.
Dude, your prosthetic leg has seen the world. Yeah, pull that bad boy up. That thing, I saw it in a comedy group. I'm in a comedy group, you know, a bunch of stand-up comics. They're there, and all of a sudden I see your leg there. I'm like, Jesus, it's everywhere. It's so good. But it's everywhere, man. And this leg has been everywhere, and another leg had made it to eBay, so you could travel. Your best leg.
That was the high-tech leg, the sea leg that you can't bring in the water. Isn't that ridiculous? You know, it threw me off. I'm like, I wanted to fly fish again, and then I got the sea leg, and then they're like, you're going to short it out.
Yeah. How much did you make on your sale?
I sold it for like $5,000. I gave him a free $5,000 ankle and foot too that went with it, and the knee's worth like 25 or 30 G's. So
yeah, like what do you need? I got an elbow. I got a shoulder joint that we took out of a cadaver. I mean, you played with cadavers, so. Oh yeah,
I only thought it was kidneys that you could get on the black market, right? I didn't know you could get legs and arms, but you know.
Maybe you're the original gangster of hawking the limbs, man. I mean, you got it. What did you do? All right, you got the money. Where'd you go first on your travels? I mean, because you do the adventure photography thing. You do a lot of shit outside.
Oh. Then I paid off a couple things, and then I just spent most of it on the car. It was hard. And then there are a lot of things that led up to me rolling around. But I tried to go to Yellowstone. Yeah. And then you'll read in the book, I didn't have much money, and I just had my car, and I just put ads on Craigslist and saw where people wanted to go, and then I'd pick them up and they'd get the gas and we'd drive there. And that's how I would just drive around, and I'd meet different people off of Craigslist.
That's so funny, man.
And I went all over cause I'm like, I fly, you buy, you know, where do you want to go? And I met some really interesting people. I'll tell you what, it was fun. It's like I'm not really worried about it. It's where you're reading the book. I'd already been dead twice and stuff, and then all these things, and I'm like, I'll pick these people up. I don't really have anything they can steal from me, You know, I'm not worried. I'd pick up hitchhikers and stuff. I have nothing that I don't. This is the thing that people are always worried about things. It's like if you don't present that you're afraid and you don't have anything to take, no one's going to really mess with you.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, people are inherently trying to rob everybody.
Man, you said it. You said you've been dead twice, and that always freaks me out. You know, like I've had this fascination near-death experience. Did you see anything?
I saw a lot of. I had different weird things, like I got comforted actually, and then I went into when I was in it because I kind of went in a coma, and then I saw it was like a lucid dream, and I knew I was all messed up, and then the second time. I knew I was down and out, and God was kind of talking to me. I was down on my shoulder, and all these people I knew from my life. I'm kind of on top of a mountain. They're circling around me, and I'm yelling to help me up, and nobody's to help me up. And it like told me in a way that I got to help myself up. The life of like I got to get up myself, or nobody's going to get it, or I'm just going to be down and out forever. And then after that, I got up. I changed a whole lot of things in my life. You'll read it in the book, but then that's what I. Go back and then I do all this different things, get the car and go around and decided to get a different outlook because I used to be on all these pain pills.
Yep.
So that's, I blew out all these discs in my back and I got 2 rods, 6 screws and 4 titanium cages. So like I said, people will read and learn more about that.
Yeah, I don't think we could cover you in we need like a 30-part series. 2 seasons to cover your whole story, man. It's a pretty robust story. I was telling you that earlier. You're really hard one to pin down with a story. So like you changed everything. You said it. I knew about your story. Somebody tipped me to you a while back, and then I came across you again. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is a fascinating story. You changed everything, man. How long did it take to change that all?
It just I came back, I went to rehab, and then I got off everything, and then I'm in rehab, and it just wasn't, all this stuff was just not living life. It's like, just don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And I'm still in a lot of pain, and I'm off all the drugs they had me on, like the opiates, but then they had me on all these other garbage drugs. And then I finally just one day just like, I'm going to start smoking. Like I was at a coffee shop talking to somebody and they brought up smoking pot. And I'm like, I should just do that. That actually always worked. And all these things always helped me. And then I just stopped taking all my shit. And then I just started smoking pot, which got me kicked out of the halfway house I was in after rehab. It caused all these problems. Started living in my car. It was weird because it was really against it. But I'm like, I'm not doing any of this shit anymore. I'm not taking any of your pills. I'm not doing this. I smoke pot. I don't care what you say. And it's going to help my life, but I don't give a shit. And that's what I did. And there's a lot of struggles through there. And then it finally has come around where everybody is accepting that now. But
like if anybody judges on that one, when Amputee Coalition comes to town, like they pretty much buy out our dispensary. So no judgment there, man. I've seen a community in action. They're pretty good buyers. So like in terms of that, but it's such a healthier response than the other side. And like your book, yeah, it's good. It's a fascinating run that discusses this whole area. Like if listeners and watchers, if you want to go deep into that area, it's there because we know it's a huge problem in our community. There is a way, like somebody has, like, I don't want to say like there's a life coaching thing, but I'm saying somebody did it. Somebody found a way to go do cool shit despite everything else going on. That's you, of course, Mack. And so like somebody went and found a way to do this, man. You're taking your leg all over planet Earth, man. Like you're taking it everywhere, but it's always in nature.
I want to put it in all these cool places. So it's there. And so then it's not attached to me, right? But somebody had to get it there. Yeah, so then everybody can see this got here how to get there, and then they can kind of put themselves into that place. That's kind of what I want to do. Because then it's like anything. As soon as somebody else sees that someone has done something once, like the 4-minute mile. As soon as the 4-minute mile is broken, then it happened all the time. Mm-hmm. So as soon as different people see that somebody else has done it, then it's like it can get them there. That's kind of why I had different people that like my chiropractor and different people like, well, why are you in there? We want to see you in there. And I'm like, I don't, it's not necessarily about me so much. And I think it's a bigger, broader thing that could be way cooler to be in every doctor's office, every physical therapy stuff, a coffee table book that just has all these cool pictures of cool places.
Why do you got to go deep like that? Because, like, you're right. Like, if you see the leg there and you've got an adaptation, you could picture yourself being there. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, "Oh, he's there," that prosthetics leg is there. I could be there.
I don't want him to be like, "Oh, well, that guy did it." Or it's to be like, no, people can do it. Like, it's not about. I mean, I've had a lot of good physical blessings and stuff that allow me to do a lot of this stuff, but that doesn't mean. I'm exclusive on that,
people have been surrounding you for a long time. You're very loved down here in Las Vegas. You're very loved. I mean, I saw people say, I know who that is. I know whose leg that is, in that one group. You're very loved, but a lot of people have been along the way. Are people shocked where you're at right now? I mean, like, you've lived 10 lives.
Well, it's hard to know where I'm going to be, and I'm not ever sure. So that's kind of, I think they probably are. I just think they're kind of, a lot of people, this is really cool. It's been fun for me. They're always just kind of excited. They're just like, where are you going to go next? And it makes them, and I've learned this. I didn't realize this for a long time, but it just kind of, there's a lot more people following me than I ever realized. And it's really kind of cool. And it's fun to just pop up somewhere new and show people something and to get people excited. That's what people don't get about being an amputee. If you let it, like anywhere I go and do something, people get pretty stoked.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard, it hurts and whatnot, but that makes it a whole lot easier to do everything, making other people excited that you're doing it.
Well, I feel that, man. Like, you talk about like this whole idea of like, people are excited to see you. Sometimes we get like, people get pissed about the inspiration porn. I get it, shit like that. But at the same time, like, it does matter to people. It does matter, especially the kids, man. They're looking and being like, well, he's got this and that's similar to me. Maybe, just maybe, when I'm 35, 40, whatever, I'll still be doing cool shit like that. It is motivating. It does help.
Kids are the best. I love kids so much.
Yeah.
They're the funnest people I ever see. I love it when they're looking at my leg and wondering and figuring it out. And the parents are the only ones that'll ever bother me, and I don't even get mad at them. It's just because they've been taught that you can't look at something you don't know about. And the kids just haven't been. They're like, I don't get that. I want to know what it is. What is that? Where'd your leg go? And then I don't ever care. I just laugh at them and smile and wave. And my leg has one of the 360 swivels, and I'll flip my leg around in my mouth and stuff. And then they all start laughing. And I'm like, I'm just trying to make it so I can get to keep spinning, and then I could fly like Thor.
That's so funny, man. Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
and then they think you're a superhero half the time, and then they're like, "Well, I want to get a mechanical leg," and I'm like, "No, buddy, you should keep on holding your own legs and stuff."
You said the words future. Like, people ask you all the time, "What's next, man?" And I know this is early on in this interview, but like, really, what is next for you?
See, I want to go and book tour, and I would like to go and speaking and talk on my book, and then I got another book I'm working and getting out, and then. Like I said, with the pictures, I'm putting together these different coffee table books, and I want to travel and speak. And then possibly, I mean, like I've said, I've had a lot of people say, dude, motivational speaking a little bit. And I'd like to do just a tour called Storytelling with Mack and do different stories that are in the book, because I have a ton of them. And then just go around. That would be cool.
Yeah, I would love to be your opener, because first, I don't want to go behind you. Second is that like, if I'm looking for a motivational speaker, you're it. Like, I don't need, oh God, this is going to sound fucked up. I'm not being mean to anybody. I don't need another this. I need somebody as well-rounded and funny. And that's what we crave. We crave this a lot, is that humor in the suffering sometimes. You bring that shit,
It's a weird thing. This kind of sucks, but it's kind of good in a way, because I have a negative feedback loop in a way to stay positive, because when I get in a bad mood and get angry, all my pain elevates more. And then I get to be a real asshole. And then I don't like that anything. So I have to keep myself in a good mood. So like I said, it's kind of sucks, but the same way I stay positive, because it keeps me out of the being what I know I can be anyways. So I don't mind it, because I'm happy. It forced me to look at things a lot differently.
Yeah, hey,
if I get mad at all of them, I'm really getting madder and madder, because I get more pain, which makes me more angry.
You're the same age as me. You have a physical challenge. How come you get to keep your hair? I mean, that's beautiful hair you got there. How'd you maintain it?
The ladies have been trying to get it too.
Man, I would love for it. If I could pull off a wig like that, I would.
I got some. See, I'm losing some here though, but
Yeah, that's easily replaceable though. Like once you go, I went right into the middle. There's nothing you can do at that point. It's over.
You're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I was screwed. I think I was like 26. I think it was too much crying and stress. I don't know, some shit like that. I was an awkward kid. I looked like Michael Cera from Superbad most of high school. And so and I had the same personality, you know what I mean? Like the same exact one, like as that. And so like, who knows what that played into, man, with all of that.
Pretty funny. That's pretty funny though.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I loved high school. In fact, I'm working on a project that's going to start talking about how those experiences shaped us, like the funny experiences, and then go forward with that. Because like, there's nothing more fun to laugh at than like slipping at a fucking dance and everybody's making fun of you. You're remembered as the shithead that slipped, like me. And so, like that, there's that. Hey man, you do redemption stories. You are the redemption story. You know, stuff like that you talk about quite a bit. How much have you seen the impacts around you when you go and, you know, you discuss like your redemption story? When I say redemption, I don't mean like religious or anything. I mean, like you definitely just reclaimed your life, man.
I mean, it's really, I don't know. It's pretty awesome actually. There's all this, it gets to me a lot actually, because there's so much positive emotion that comes at me when I've had my balls stomped on for like a long time. To a lot of things, like I'm used to just getting kicked in the balls from over and over and over. And then now like I've gone through that and I go and talk to people and how I got through that. And then you get all this overwhelming amount of like, it's overwhelming is all I can say. It's really good, overwhelming, but it is. It's a total, like I said, full circle from like, you know, almost a prison camp being stomped on to being like thrown in like not lavish, but nice. Like everything is just great. People and I really feel good that I'm making an impact, because I don't think there's nothing that's disingenuous, because I don't ever try to be disingenuous. People, I get genuine feedback and responses from things, and that is very important to me, at least.
Yeah, man, you've hit, you talk a little bit about this. You've hit some lows. We all hit lows. That's the only thing people want sometimes from me, is tell me the low and then bring me to the high. Do you get tired of that? Do you get tired of having to go down and be like, I got to talk about my lowest points when I'm out here doing all this crazy, fantastic shit? You know what I mean? Do you ever get beat up and tired of doing that, like behind the scenes?
Well, yeah. Like I said, it's hard to sit there and, if I got to explain how I lost my leg, I got to sit there and have to like, it's okay, I'm fine, it's okay. And I just, that's why, like a lot of times people ask, I'm like, I'm just a crazy person.
You know what? That's a good point, though. It is. We're oftentimes like caressing or calming those we're telling the difficulties to at the same time. It's kind of wild, right?
Yeah, that's the exhausting part. It's just like, man, I had this big shit. They like kicked me in the ass, but I'm fine with it now. And now I have to tell it to you, and then I have to make you fine with it now. And that's a lot of work. Like, it took enough work to be fine with it yourself. Now I gotta make you. So it's just kind of a little bit extra.
Take us to the stage, man. Take us to the stage where you like went up there, like your earliest memory of attempting stand-up comedy. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people say, actually, I don't think a lot of people, maybe outside the community, they'd be like, yeah, he's a comic and he happens to have a physical disability, challenge, adaptation, whatever label works for it. But a lot of times, like around here, you're seen as a comic. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's your earliest memory, is I was a comic. Maybe I was seen as somebody with a disability, but like, what is your earliest memory of getting up on a stage and finding, you know, that acceptance?
See, it was weird. Like I got up on the stage. I really didn't do one-legged jokes right at first. I was doing completely other stuff about dating and how and then I got off, and this one guy who was pretty well known, I was in Salt Lake City. He's a pretty good comic, a nice guy. And he was like, comes up and talks to me. He's like, you know, you got something that nobody else has, and you could use all this stuff and do this and everything. And then like the next time I came up and I started doing a bunch of stories that were false stories about how I lost my leg. They're all pretty funny.
Yeah, the extravagant stories are there, but you felt like, like when you were there, you felt like you just day one, I'm just going to roll with like my everyday life, That's
what I did at first. And then I changed to that. And now I've gone back to, I just tell whatever. And then the one-legged stuff comes in because it's involved, right? I'll tell some things with it because, it's part of it, but it's not a focus. They'll come into stories and things because it's there.
Yeah.
And it makes them funnier. That's what's so funny, because I'll be like, yeah, there's this one-legged guy in this place here that just shouldn't be there. Well, like what shouldn't be there it's amazing to say, but it's not usually there.
I thought there was like a convention or a conference at first where like comedians with disabilities all knew each other. You know what I mean? Like there's like, like they meet up like once.
We could do this and you could do this and do this. Yeah. Like with my friend Dave, who's got CP, we want to start a podcast, like I said, called The R Word, and just interview everybody about all kinds of different stuff. I mean,
that's the thing is you transcend. I've heard of the project you guys are working on and are going for, and you guys transcend the adaptive side, the disability side. When you're sitting as a comic or standing as a comic, I don't know what word works there, but like whatever it is, you're a comic. You're not an adaptive comic. You're not a disabled comic. And when you do a podcast, you guys have some shit going on, but at the same time, you're interviewing people that don't. Like in terms of physical stuff, they have other shit going on. I mean, the human condition, the challenges are very similar, except, the variables changed. One is physical, one's mental, and that's what's so interesting about the project you guys are working on. And I think a lot of listeners will be excited for this. It's like, here's us now interviewing you,
Yeah.
Great.
Well, because we both, me and him, will have a different take on life, because he has CB and I have this, and then it's going to be way different than their take. And so we can hit all different angles that people won't think to go.
Yeah, I think it will be amazing. I think that's an amazing show, amazing concept too. When I heard that, I'm like, that will work. If you guys stick around long enough, that one's going to work. You two are going to hit it out of the park because you guys, first, are really comfortable on the mic. And then second, I don't think you can fail, like as long as you're there long enough, because you guys are going to say funny shit no matter what the subject is. People are going to tune in. That's what you guys do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm excited. Davey's hilarious.
We'll link him
he's a baller.
We'll link his social media and notes for everybody listening so they can find them, so you can get some little entertainment. I mean, we're going to the holidays, man. The holidays, first of all, everybody got fucked up with COVID. Everybody's depressed because of that. Rightfully so. Everybody's stuck in, shit like that. Events canceled. Now we're going to the holidays, man. And all of this is going on, man. You got any advice for for the listeners that how to make it through those tough moments?
I don't know. I would go snowboarding. That's when I had legs. I would just go hit the mountain. You get away from people and go snowboarding, but that's what I always do. When things are tough, I go outside and go do some exercise. Just simple nature, whatever, and it always recharges my brain and my spirit, and just kind of helps anxiety of things, because there's just too much stuff all the time that's overwhelming everybody. That's why I get away a lot, and so it keeps me in a good mood, because I just try to turn off the news.
What's your go-to adventure? I think this is cool because you've been on a lot of them. Like if you're gonna narrow, like first one that comes to your head, your best, your favorite right now. It could change in 40.
Right now, I love whitewater kayaking.
Nice.
That's what I love doing. I was doing it. Only place I was doing it, the Weber. The Weber River was where I was doing a bunch, because I haven't gotten. It only has class 3. I haven't gotten better. I was going to do some up in Wenatchee, Washington. I went there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just too late in the season when the water went too low. And then I want to get a hard shell, actually, so I can do the really gnarly stuff. Because you could have done it up, but I bought it's a good whitewater inflatable. It's a Star Raven, which they're like kind of top line. I bought it with the Trump money. I called it the Cobra Cash. The $1,200. I bought it with that. I'm like, I'm going to go take my boat out and float away from all the COVID. So I'd get my boat and go float around the rivers and go float in the, and around lakes and everything, because you got social distancing and you can. Yeah. And I had my waterproof camera, so I could take pictures of all kinds of cool stuff, and just, I'd bring a couple J's and float around. And it would be, I mean, great day. that's and you run into some people here and there, because I always like running into some people, because people that are getting out are fun. That's usually what I've found, if they're out and about.
Well, I once rode a jet boat in like Hell's Canyon up in like Idaho, Oregon area. I forget.
On the Snake River?
Yeah, that was fucked up. That was crazy. That was so fun. That was wild, awesome, man. Yeah, but like kayaking and stuff, I had, like we didn't have much in Western PA. We had to go down to West Virginia. West Virginia is scary. Like, I got to tell you, West Virginia is a little different.
I have a friend that's in West Virginia. He just bought a bar there. I met him in Vegas, and he was doing comedy, went back there, but he was a whitewater raft tour guide in West Virginia. He was telling me about how there's some of the most extreme stuff in the world there, and it's all over, and it was pretty awesome.
Man, I had a childhood friend pass away kayaking there, and he was like 29, 30 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, he got stuck under, and it was really sad. In fact, when I lived in Utah, we were hanging out a bunch because he's out there for a little bit too. And then next thing I hear, folks are like, man, he passed. We were all shocked. It's very gnarly out there. It's very messed up. Okay, we talked a little bit about adventure photography, all these adventures you're going on, kayaking and stuff like that. The goal here, I think, a lot of times is to show quite a bit of empowerment, but also the beauty of nature. Why is nature so healing to you?
I don't know. I can't explain it. It totally sets you. I've read books about it or whatever. I don't understand it, but I just know when I'm in nature, you just cut off all this other garbage, outside noise, and you can just totally. It's like a meditation process. I love it. I'll just get up hiking, and when I'm hiking, I'll get kind of in a zone, and it get kind of in. Like I read the book, The Rise of Superman, and they talk about getting into flow state, and it'll kind of put me into flow state where I'm just going and I'm just flowing, and my mind is just churning thoughts of the comedy and all these different things are going, and then I'm just absorbing, and I'll just see, like all of a sudden there's some hawks circling and flying, and then doing all these just cool stuff. Like I ran into 3 bald eagles in 3 days. I got some of the awesomest pictures. I was camping in southern Idaho and doing some kayaking and different stuff, and then this bald eagle flew right over my camp in the morning, and I took my car and I found it sitting there, and I got some great shots of it just sitting there and then just taking off with its talons out. Because I just got it, because it's just patience. You're going to be there and just soak it in and not be in a rush. Like that's one thing I've had to learn getting your leg cut off, is I can't be in a rush too much, because I can't go too fast anymore. So it's key. It's a formula for frustration. If I'm like, I got to get this done this time or whatever, because it's just, I can only go as fast as I can go.
I reframed it, like instead of being like, man, I got to take a break or something, I sit up on a rock, like I'm perched up like a king of a village, you know what I mean? And I'm just looking over the world, and
you get to sit there and soak in stuff for a while. You go hike, and then you sit there and you soak everything in, check it out, see what's going on. And I hate when people are like, because I did Angel's Landing, and they're like, how long did that take you to do Angel's Landing? And I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe 6 hours or something, but I stopped at the top for an hour and a half and met some people and did this. And I wasn't really in a rush. I was just I had all day. So I took all day. That was my whole point. That was what I had planned for that day. So I did it and enjoyed the whole thing and met a whole bunch of cool people and all kinds of stuff. And so,
I don't go by hours either. I'm like, it took Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I had to do Saturday. And that's what I did. It wasn't really, I wasn't timing myself. I wasn't in a one-legged mountain climbing competition. I always tell that to people though, when they're like, how you doing? I'm hiking. I'm like, man, I'm just as good as a one-legged mountain climbing competition.
if you're in the adaptive world, we'll turn anything into a competition. My buddy said that, and I'm like, he's so right. Like, it will be like anything. It will be like buying gum, and like, let's see who could buy it quicker and who could use it card quick. Like, it doesn't matter. It just seems like that's the nature of it. The Angel's Landing hike is completely crazy. I did not feel good up there, I'll tell you that much, because I don't get the most stable. I don't have it's not, I don't have Yosemites that are carrying this body here, like I don't have redwoods under here. So it's like, it's something like that. But yeah, that was a gnarly hike. How many times have you been in like crazy predicaments like that? Like in terms of like hikes that are like kind of shady and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be up here, but I'm just going to do it anyways.
Quite a few. I can't even think. One really dumb hike I did was Telescope Peak in Death Valley, And it was a really gnarly peak, and I did it. I didn't have nearly enough preparation. I ended up sleeping on the mountain twice. I wrote about it in my book because it was such a ridiculous hike. And it says 11,049 feet overlooking negative 282.
Wow.
So it's the most prominent mountain in the lower 48.
My buddy did that last year. He said it was nuts.
It's nuts. And this trail is not a good trail. Like Angel's Landing Trail is a good trail. This is a crap trail. And it's just straight up and slanted. And I had a crap prosthetic where my knee was blown out. And it just like, and when your prosthetic side, high side, you know, when the trail's slanted, it really screwed all these things. There were all these things. And then I was just like, oh, I'm here. I'm going to get there. I'm like, I'm not going to not make it. I'm going to go. If it kills me, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to get back down. And that's what I did. But
yeah, I haven't done that hike. I've heard of it. And
it's brutal. It's brutal. It's brutal. It's really gorgeous. So I think there's one by it. It's like Rose Mountain or something, Rosewood or something. It's because there's Telescope and then there's Rose. And Rose is like 9,000 feet. And it's supposed to be a pretty amazing view too. I mean, the view on top of Telescope Peak is something else because you look down the mountains.
How many on the trail when you were there? How many?
There was like, in the 3 days I was on the trail, because that's how it took me. I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people.
Damn.
Six people.
Yeah.
I'm lucky all of them gave me water and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't bring up? Oh, shit.
I didn't bring up enough. I didn't have enough anything. All I had was marijuana and water and a can of nuts.
Yeah, we're getting high on a peak, you know, like, and just trying our best here, you know. So like, we're doing what we can. Like, people can't be complaining about that. Everybody. Yeah, that's a gnarly hike or climb. It's really a climb at the end. A lot of people. I love when people in the West, like, I'm an East Coaster. When I moved here, they're like, "Oh, it's a great hike," and I'm there, and I'm like, how's it just it's a hike and then a climb, you dick? Like how do you call it still a hike? It's a hike. Like, you can't do that. That's LARPing or something. You know, it's like, it's completely falsehoods over
big
here.
Boulders that were kind of scaling up in a way. And yeah,
and the people that review these hikes too, they're lying. Like, grandma's like, I'm petrified at heights, but you know, Scouts Landing was just no problem at all. And I'm like, what? Like, what? You're terrified of hikes, dude? That's 1,000-foot drop on a tiny sidewalk, you know, like, good luck.
Yep. It takes you straight up there on the Walters Wiggles.
Yeah, it's pretty much people like you and I probably doing reviews, just not having, you know, just being like, let's just tell everybody it's good to go. You know, like, just go, man, you're fine. You'll be all right. Yeah, that's you push the envelope though. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying maybe they're trying to ruin the spots. Like, I see it now. Let's overcrowd it. Let's overrun it. We'll just tell everybody it's easier than easy, and then they'll all show up there, and then they can't do it. That's something.
Well, Vegas TikTok's doing that. So TikTok, all the Vegas users, they're like, we're going to tell everywhere bad to go. So there's a group of people that came together, and they're like, man, you got to check out the Stratosphere. And like, nobody's saying Red Rock Canyon or any of the hikes. So like, you got to hit the Strat. That whole downtown area by the Strat's perfect. And so like... It's so funny. They're like 16, 18, you know, like, just young people are like, we're preserving our hikes. I'm like, that's hilarious.
That's actually the smartest thing that they've done, I think. That's awesome. That's a great idea.
Congrats. Like, yeah, for real. Yeah, that crew showed up this time for us, you know, they displayed what was possible. What motivated you to write your book?
So I felt like I had to, in a way, like I was a failure in a way. Like, after reading Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, and Something to Do, like, the reason I'm not dead, or some things, it's like, I need to be able to share my story with people that are struggling with this, because it's a big problem for everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people right now in the world. And coming from, I mean, the biggest thing, like, all the things I'm doing, and for the adaptive world, I mean, I glad that too, but helping people that are just stuck in addiction and think there's their only way, realize they need to come through and live living life, and that's their cure to addiction. It's not going to AA, whatever works for you. If you go to AA, but that's just being addicted to that. You need to be addicted to living. And I just felt kind of like I had to. That was like my purpose. It's weird, but I mean, from being dead in a way, I was sent back down here so I could come and kind of spread that around instead of. You know, that's why I needed to do it and stop living small. Like, I've been living small, going and doing all these adventures, because I'm only sharing it with the few people that I'm around, instead of, you know, a lot of people are excited about it. So like, it's really living small and not doing what I, you know, and like, this kind of sounds funny because, you know, everybody's like, hey, you'd want to be famous or something. And I'm kind of like, I like being behind the scenes famous, but that's just, it's just not fair, really, because a lot of people can benefit. Like a lot. I know a lot of people can totally read this and come out and find a way, and it's going to help their life. So
yeah,
and they're going to laugh a lot too.
Yeah, like creating your own stage though is so important, so integral, especially when you have, like, I think for like when you have the struggles or something, when you can utilize those struggles to help somebody else in some way, whether it's a picture, a video, a discussion, or just, you know, just general conversation on somebody's post or something that you don't know and they're across the world, but you kind of empower them. But creating your own platform, I think that was one of the best things I could do for myself to like feel better about the bad shit too. I don't know why, it just worked. I can't explain the mechanics or anything like that, but it just worked for me. I'm not saying it would work for everybody else, you know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it makes everything not so bad for sure too, like I was saying. And I need to spread it on a larger scale. Because totally, when I go out hiking and somebody gets excited, it makes you feel better. And then hiking and then adventures are, I don't know, I like excitement and unknown. I like exploring. I like not knowing what's going to happen.
You do like excitement. You like when do you think you'll be able to get back on the stage again and start telling jokes again?
I was going to go tonight and down in Ogden. I was deciding whether I was going to stick around or if I was going to drive to Green River, Utah, and take some because I got my astrophotography lens in last night, and I'm so excited to go take some astro pictures. So I'm like, can I wait? Because there's a mic tonight that I've been doing in Ogden, and it's been fun. I've been having a lot of fun doing well. But
we got some listeners in Ogden. They should be showing up for you. We've got some listeners in Ogden, quite a few in Salt Lake. Salt Lake actually has one of the better comedy clubs, I think, in the Gateway area. It was really good, at least back in the day.
Wise guys, I had a problem. Like,
oh no,
I performed there before, and then the one guy told me that I needed to wear pants, and I don't even own pants. And because it was when I was first starting out, and because pants mess up, like my leg pops off, and it's really hard to take out. There's all kinds of reasons why I don't wear pants. And I don't even own pants.
Yeah,
I go, I'm just kind of like, well. And at the time, I was doing a lot of one-legged jokes. I'm like, well, a lot of my jokes have to do with you can take a knife and stab yourself in the leg. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, you were just too stupid for me to come back here and make people laugh at your club because you were just, I just won't do it. There was a couple other things that they really pissed me off on. And then I'm just like, I'm not dealing with you guys anymore because they have a monopoly. So they've run out other kind of comedy clubs that tried to get around here. So.
Okay, well, fuck Wise Guys. Everybody, don't go to Wise Guys. They suck. Doing something like that, screw them. And don't go to the Gateway in general until Wise Guys out. So who cares? Screw them. You know what I mean? Like,
go to Ogden though. I like some of the local shows they'll do around here. But it's true. The scene has kind of been knocked down. They've knocked it all out. But there's a couple of different clubs, and like the Funk and Dive is where I'm going to be at tonight. I usually go there whenever I'm in Utah. Because I'll be here for a couple weeks and then I'll disappear for a couple months and then I'll come back. I'm usually at the Funk and Dive every Tuesday night.
You have like a fantastic photo. Range of Motion Project reposted it. It's getting a lot of love everywhere. You're playing guitar in front of the Bellagio, man. You're getting picked up by a lot of adaptive orgs, which you haven't floated around to many of them at all. Are we going to see you like come hang out with the community at some point? Like are you going to keep hiding with everybody else?
See, I want to come out. I need to come out. I will come out. It's not something I don't want to keep hiding. Now I know it's there. I get invited. I've got a car and things. I want to come out and be involved with all this stuff. I'd like to get involved in adaptive climbing. I've done a little bit of rock climbing without anything. I'd like to get involved with people that are doing it with actually adaptive stuff that will make it so, because I mean, you can totally rock climb without your leg. You get a little foot there and you can do so much stuff and almost even better because you have level. I mean, all kinds of cool things I would love to do. I'd love to see what all these different people are doing and make people laugh and, whatever. If it makes people get out and do more stuff, that's always a bonus all the time.
Yeah, you've been going on adventures. Like a lot of us we can get support, grants or something. You've been going on to high mountains. You've been having them high mountain dreams with a bag of weed. Like the rest of us we'll get like a Patagonia jacket. You know what I mean? Like I got like collapsible water bottles, you know, shit like that, and you're on a trail, you know, getting people are handing you water. You know what I mean? You've been hitting adventure, you've been a risk taker for a while, so like getting a little bit of support from the community, climbing with some safe gear and shit like that will probably go a long way. Because I know you've climbed without your leg too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, are we gonna
it would help. I would, because I want to do the Grand Canyon rim to rim, and I'd like to line up a bunch of other people to do it with me. And I think it'd be the coolest thing to make an adventure documentary of just 5 of us, all different, you know, limbs, you know, chopped to different lengths, men, women, black, white, green, purple, whatever, aliens. And then we go rim to rim and just show everybody that we can all do it and have just a silly time, you know, like, maybe we'd hire some Sherpas, you know, like to pack our stuff, but then we go down and do it all and film it and see the people, because all the people we'd meet on the trail would be amazing, because they'd all be so excited to see us all. And then everybody, I guarantee, would have some interesting backstory with how they got to how they were. So it could be a total, you know, awesome thing. That's what I'd love to do with the community. I'd love to get people involved that would want to do that, because I know a lot of people I think would be excited to do it, and they could do it.
So you've got all these platforms that you've done. You've gone on so many adventures. You've got so many, you know, you've got so many things in the fire right now. But I think the biggest thing for the listeners and watchers right now is that you've got this book out, and the book is going to be linked, you know, it's going to be linked, you know, in our show notes. It's going to be also on my website. It's going to be everywhere, you know, and Hop About's going to be available for anybody that wants it right now. It's released when this interview's out. It's already been released. So you guys have this available to you. And so this is another chance for the community to get some entertainment, you know, hear how somebody else navigated life and its challenges. And maybe some stuff might work for you. Maybe it won't. But like, this is just another opportunity. And why I think this is so important, like why we got you on today, this is going into Christmas, man. We're going into those tough holidays like we were talking about earlier. But, you know, get that under the tree, do whatever you want, because like this is a time to like, you know, reflect on the good shit too, because we can sit there and go to AA, or we can talk about everything all the time, or we can get living. Like, let's get living, man, for sure.
Well, in the end of it, I love the end of it, and it's all true. Like, it's all family reconciliation, and which is really beautiful in the holidays times, right? You come together, and there's a lot of struggle holidays, and it all is. And now I just do everything with my family. I go to all my nieces and nephews' stuff when I'm around here, all their band things and everything. I'm like the #1 fan to everything. And I'm always joking, and I'll go by, and they've told all their. It's funny because they've told all their friends about me because I do this silly stuff, and then I'll come there, and then they'll be introducing me. So it's funny. I'll be kind of like the celebrity in the little band thing, which it makes them all excited because it's just funny to me. I think it's cool because I like getting my nieces and nephews excited, and I like things they're doing. So I love supporting them. And it's just really great how I goes full circle where I'm not even talking to my family. And then everything is come together. So it's like, it's heartwarming, and it wasn't meant. It's just how it turned out.
How many times do you get yelled at by your siblings and their spouse for your behavior with their kids? Like with jokes and shit.
Oh, when I was young, I did all the time. Well, I would always buy the loudest toys too for Christmas.
Yeah.
I always do stuff like that. But not too many anymore. My brother's kids, they're all fun. They're all right. They're all little, they're fun. They're just, I don't know. My brother's family's all pretty. They don't care. They're like me.
Yeah.
They're pretty joking around. So it's not too bad.
So this question's a little bit different, but I don't think people capture your story as well. You know, like I don't, and I don't feel like I can capture your story as well as your book, of course. But at the same time, you can't put everything into your book, and you can't put everything into interviews. What do people miss about you?
Oh man, there's. Yeah, I kind of toned down my book in a way, and sometimes with things, you know, people are always what's the word? They're am I losing the word? You know, they blow them up. They expand on them too much. I have to kind of tone all my stuff down because I'm not. I don't know. I'm just, for whatever reason, I'm just not very afraid of anything. Some of the dying of things, and it's like. And it's lucky in a way, but it's like it scares a lot of people because I'll be doing things that are really think that I'm going to die all the time. And I don't know, somehow I know I'm not going to die. I don't know. I've had this really confident thing in me that I can, I don't know, but
why aren't you scared to die?
I don't know. Some of it was some of the things I saw after I was dead. I got, and I know kind of transcend into a different energy state and things. And
was it cool?
I had such an amazing time in a coma, and it was just a warm, loving feeling. So I just don't see God as what some people think, something to fear. I see it as something that's loving and a warm whatever. And what from my experience and my feeling. So yeah, I just, there's so much in the book. There's like, I'm really, because I have one good friend and I do a lot of crazy things that's not in this book because he's working on me making another book that goes into more crazier things. And like, because I kind of just, I follow kind of my own rule book. I don't really, there's the societal rule book, the things that we're supposed to do. And then after I got off the pain pills, I'm like, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to follow what I see is the way to do it. And I pretty much live by the golden rule. I follow everybody how I want to be treated and treat people well. But I follow my rule book. I don't follow what, like I got screwed over and I didn't have a license for 3 years and that didn't stop me from driving. I got my license again. I figured out the ways, the loophole here so I could have a legal car. And then I just lived in my car and I drove everywhere because that's what I did. And so I figured out a way to do it. The people were like, well, what if you got pulled? Like, I made sure I didn't get pulled over. I made sure this. I made sure I did this. I made sure this. Yeah. And when I did get pulled over, I could talk my way out to the cop, being like, I'm just trying to get back on my foot again, man. This is what I'm doing. Yeah, and they'd always up here. Yeah, they always laugh, and it wasn't like, well, let's see, we gotta have another homeless person that's a crippled guy in our community right now. No, not really, And I wouldn't be, threatening. That's the thing. If you're not like a problem, like I was not necessarily following the law there, but I wasn't being a problem for people. I wasn't treating people bad or robbing people or anything like that. So that goes a long ways.
Yeah, I can't skirt past the idea that like you transcended something. It kind of freaks me out because like what's like you do two things that people hate. They hate public speaking and they hate thinking about dying. They're scared. Two things people are really scared of. Actually, three that you do: heights, public speaking, and dying. Like you weren't scared. Like now you're not scared of it before, but like it's an interesting topic to hit. I've had a few discuss that because a lot of times traumatic accidents bring on some of that, and then some don't see anything, and I'm like, that's cool. It's an interesting subject though. At least for me, I love it. I love that subject, man. It's pretty cool because I don't know anything, man.
That's the best thing that you can know, I think, is that you don't know anything. I mean, I think Plato said that. It was Aristotle. It's one of those really, because then you can fill up the base with more information, right? If it's already full. Yeah. If you already know it all, there's nothing to learn.
Yeah, I know I like coffee lately. I know I like to hike, and then my cat likes me, like the older one, but then the kids don't. And it's like, that's the things I know right now.
Well, at least you know that though. Yeah. Then you know how to act to it. If you thought they did, then you're really having trouble.
Yeah. I don't even give treats. I don't give treats to the other cat at all anymore. I'm like, you show no affection. I'm like, go get it from somebody else.
Go find your own food.
Yeah. Go find it. Like hunt. You wild.
Go do some hunting and bring your guts back here and leave it on the porch and show me that you're doing something, and maybe I'll give you a treat later. We had a cat that did that. We cleaned out. I lived in Elko, Nevada. It cleaned out like every ground squirrel for like a 2-block radius or like a 2-mile radius, and they'd all have their guts and their jawbone would be on the porch every day.
Dude, how do you go from Elko and other areas to the wide, big world, man? How do you go from that small town living, man?
Yeah.
Where was the dreams at?
It was, when I was then, I wanted to be Bo Jackson.
Nice.
I was like, well, yeah, I like baseball, football, everything. I just went so hard. That's how I kind of blew my body up. But then, yeah, I was an MVP of the league of baseball. I baseball was my favorite sport and everything. And then I blew my back up and threw my arm out and all these things. And then I got to Reno, and then I just became. But then I got drunk a lot.
Yeah, that's one thing is you've always been a hard charging athlete too. It just figures. It seems like the mindset often stays and like you lose something, you regroup and you go again and you just keep going. That's kind of the message I find in the stories, is finding a way to move forward no matter what.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Some people telling me, like, because I'd like to snowboard again, and I've thought about it, getting into adaptive snowboarding because I did that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm doing some of these other things I'm doing now that I haven't done before, like kayaking and stuff. And I really like that because that's something new. And I used to snowboard with all my parts, and I knew how to do it, and I was really good at it then. And it would kind of be learning it over again, doing it adaptive. But I really like the new other things I've never done that I can learn again and then be all new.
Yeah.
And I don't, because somebody like, oh, well, you could do that again. And I'm like, yeah, I could. And I won't be as good as I was because I'll still know what I could do, compared to what I could do. But I won't be anything taken away from what I could do kayaking because I never did it before at all. So now everything I do will be the best that I've ever done it.
All right, Mack, thanks for being here, hopping about with us. You know what I mean? See, we got something with your book, but I'm excited for your book. I'm excited to read it. I was lucky. I know people that know you. I was able to get inside information. I know some of your stuff. I know some of your comedy. So I was able to kind of tease a little bit out of that. And so I'm excited to read your book. We're going to have it linked up everywhere too. Man, you're larger than life. Your personality is absolutely larger than life. I interview a lot of people and you bring that. You just have that personality. So I'm looking forward to you opening up your other platforms. I can't wait to see your adventures. I can't wait to see you actually use a fucking hashtag on Instagram. Because you bring good content. It'd be helpful to show the world because they're going to have to actually type in your name to find it instead of hashtag. So and then TikTok too. I'm excited to see what you do over there. So we'll link up everything in the show notes. We'll get this thing out, man. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, man. It's been a pleasure. It's been wonderful.
Remember, go to livingadaptive.com to find previous episodes, show notes, contacts for guests like this guest, links to social media accounts, and a bunch of other good stuff. So go there. Peace.